Hello, welcome back to Indus News with me, Osman Lone. Well, we begin this hour with our top story, and that's after 9 months of tireless work, exhaustive diplomacy and countering New Delhi's stumbling blocks, Pakistan has launched its peace initiative, the Kartarpur Corridor. In a formal ceremony at the 09 in Narrowal, the final agreement was signed today between Pakistan and India. More in this report.
Darbar Sahib Kartarpur is located 4.5 kilometers from Pakistan-India border in district Narowal, Pakistan. It is one of the holiest places for Sikhism followers around the world. To facilitate a shorter route for the pilgrims, Islamabad incepted the Kartarpur corridor and sent the proposal to India last year. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan held the groundbreaking of the project in November 2018. Today, Pakistan's Foreign Ministry spokesman Mohammad Faisal and Indian Joint Secretary of Home Ministry SCL Das inked the agreement. Speaking after the signing ceremony, Faisal said Prime Minister Imran Khan had fulfilled his promise and completed the corridor in a year.
The signing of the agreement, despite challenges, indicates the resolve of the Prime Minister to fulfill his commitment in line with Islamic principles for respect of all religions and government's policy on promoting interfaith harmony.
Faisal said the agreement is a historic achievement by Pakistan in its pursuit of regional peace and stability.
The agreement was signed by Mr. Das, who is the Joint Secretary, Home Affairs from India, on behalf of India, and I signed it on behalf of Pakistan. The agreement will facilitate pilgrims to visit Gurdwara Kartarpur Sahib 7 days a week.
Pakistan is all set to open the shrine before 550th birth anniversary celebration of Baba Guru Nanak on November the 12th.
New Delhi's curfew in the occupied valley is having a devastating impact on local people's mental health. The latest report by international journalists has exposed the worsening state of affairs in occupied Kashmir. Journalists have conducted multiple interviews of both local doctors and civilians. The report said the number of patients suffering from stress and anxiety has risen drastically over the past 80 days. It said the trauma of living in fear of the Indian Army's abductions, torture and arrests is the main cause. It added that over 170 patients visit clinics daily. The report said the actual number of mental health patients is much higher, as most cannot reach hospitals due to the clampdown. New Delhi's curfew and communications blackout in the occupied territory has entered its 81st day. Well, staying with Kashmir, and the people and political parties of the occupied valley have completely boycotted the council elections. The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party is the only major party contesting. International watchdogs and media say the polls have zero credibility due to local rejection and non-participation. Locals said this is more like completing a formality, as it's essentially an artificial exercise. In 2018, 60% of over 21,000 village council seats remained vacant due to the boycott. In India, the Supreme Court has asked the centre to review curbs it has imposed in occupied Kashmir in the name of national interest. A 3-judge bench was hearing a batch of petitions challenging curbs in the state following the scrapping of its special status. It asked the Modi administration how long it intends to continue with restrictions in Jammu and Kashmir. Emphasizing that the blackout has been in place for over 2 months, it called on the centre to come clean on the issue. The top court posted the matter for hearing on the 5th of November. Civil society members have slammed India over human rights abuses during the US congressional hearing on occupied Kashmir. The congressional body's hearing was held earlier this week to highlight the humanitarian crisis in the valley. University of Westminster Professor Natasha Cole said India has broken every single principle of democracy in the valley. Angana Chatterjee from the University of California said the human rights abuses may lead to an armed uprising. Amnesty International official Francisco Bencosme said his organization has documented a clear pattern of human rights violations in the valley. In Libya, 3 civilians have been killed and 7 others injured in fresh airstrikes by Khalifa Haftar's forces near the capital Tripoli. The Libyan government said the raids hit residential areas in the southern Al-Swani area. Earlier, 2 children were killed and 3 civilians injured in shelling close to the same neighborhood. In April, Haftar's forces launched a military campaign to capture Tripoli from the internationally recognized government. The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces have assured Russia they will keep their end of the ceasefire deal. Talking to Russia's Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, SDF head Mazloum Abdi thanked Moscow for saving his people. Shoigu said he told the SDF head to implement the Russian-Turkish-Syria deal from their side. The Russian military police started deploying on Syria's northeast border on Wednesday. Under the deal signed in Sochi on Tuesday, Turkey will remain fully deployed in an Arab-majority area. It also requires Kurdish forces to pull back to a line 30 kilometers from the entire border, forcing them to surrender some of their main towns. Russia and Turkey will then start joint patrols in 2 zones along the border. Russian and African states have created a mutual trading platform worth $5 billion at the Sochi summit. The Russian Export Center says the agreement will give Moscow access to the African market. Director Andrei Slepnyov said Russia will in turn open a trade corridor to the African continent. Moscow says the deal will boost cooperation with African states through new trade and investment. In Britain, police say the 39 people found dead in a lorry container in Essex were Chinese nationals. They're still questioning the 25-year-old lorry driver on suspicion of murdering 8 women and 31 men. Police initially suggested the lorry could be from Bulgaria, but later said it entered the United Kingdom from Belgium. The Chinese embassy in London says it's in contact with the British police to confirm the reports. Well, it's a lovely 29 degrees here in Lahore, but let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all from me and the team here in Lahore, but don't forget you can catch up on all of our stories or follow us on social media at indus.news. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.